You're listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner.
Hey guys, it's Charge and Hayner present Zoom the TBT, and we're starting our regional previews in anticipation of what should be a great summer event. Charge, how you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great. Obviously, we're going to dive into the Wichita region in a little more detail. We've got a just amazing panel of guests on tonight. So excited to see what Wichita brings and the excitement around TBT.
So we're starting on the lower right, and we've got a lot of really great Kansas, Missouri Valley, old school matchups here. We got a really great, really solid team of former Patriot League guys. This is a really fun little quad to talk about. This is a great time to bring in our guests. We have the honor of having the head coach of the Aftershocks, Mr. Zach Bush, and one of the lead guards of the Blue Crew, Mr. Jahenns Manigat. Gentlemen, how you doing tonight?
Doing good. Excited to be here.
Doing well. Thanks for having us, fellas.
Yeah, this is really cool. Let's just get right into the matchups. Let's start with the 7-10 matchup. This is going to be a really, really solid matchup of obviously a team that you have a lot of followings and a lot of fan base in Wichita, the purple and black, the K-State alumni team against the Omaha Blue Crew. And see, there's a lot of talent here. So, Charge, who jumps off the page in this matchup to you?
Yeah, and I think this is going to be an incredible matchup. I love the fact that the Creighton team, the Blue Crew, has a lot of original alumni, and we talk about grad transfers all the time. And Nick McGlynn was just a really, really nice pickup by the Blue Crew. And obviously we have Jahenns here, so obviously I'm really, really excited about Jahenns' play and what he's going to bring to the TBT. So let's start with you, Jahenns. Obviously, first year kind of into the TBT. How does team start to come together? Why did you want to get involved?
We've been watching TBT for like the last handful of years, and over the last couple of summers, I kept asking the guys, like, what's it going to take for us to, get a group of us and join in on the fun, on the action. When you're looking at all these other teams competing, it looks like they're enjoying their time so much because, like you just mentioned, they're all alumni, all representing basically the same school, and they have history with each other. They've played with each other before. Obviously, life always kind of, brings us to our separate routes, but to be able to come back with a group of guys that, I've played with before, that I've basically lived with and, hung out with a ton during my college time here. I think it'll be great. And it's just going to be so much fun for us to get the crew back together again.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this matchup too, because I'm a big fan of physical, aggressive basketball. Purple and black. I mean, they've had Huggins, they've had Martin, they've had Weber. All those guys preach a lot of elbows and a lot of fist fight kind of basketball, a lot of bump cuts. How are the Blue Crew, which I guess Creighton's got a different vibe basketball-wise. They've always had like a much more of a skilled attack. Like under the coaching staffs they've had recently, they've always been a team that brings a lot of skill to the table. So is your plan to just outshoot them, out diagram them, outwork them? Or like what's going to be the style of play contrast in this game, you think, James?
I mean, we're going to be a physical team as well. We got a bunch of pros who have played in Europe for the last handful of years, so we know how to play a physical brand of basketball as well. But the strength of our team is going to be ball movement, player movement, and shooting, just like most Creighton teams. So it's going to be a very familiar sight for some of those fans who haven't seen us play in the last couple of years because of our professional careers being played outdoor. But it's going to be something that they're going to remember because of our style of play, and it's not going to look too different from what a traditional Creighton team would look like.
Absolutely. Yeah, should be a really, really fun matchup, I'm thinking. I know the shooting is a big thing there. Yeah, I mean, it's just a really, really, really good matchup. Do you have any concerns about being a first-year alum team? Because that's obviously one thing that we always worry about is alumni teams, generally their first time up, have a real hard time adjusting to the content of the tournament. Like, have you guys reached out to OG teams or teams that are older and figured out like how they've played this event? Do you have any TBT sort of guru mentors who are helping you figure out the event a bit?
No, not really. It's just basically from what we've seen the last couple of years. I had a chance to play in the Canadian Elite Basketball League last year, and they implemented the Elam ending there. So I personally have a little bit of Elam ending experience. But for the majority of our guys, it's going to be a new concept, and we're just going to have to play it by ear a little bit, which is maybe not the best strategy, but I think we're just a bunch of smart guys. We'll be able to figure it out when that time comes. But no, we were just all basketball junkies. Like we heard about TBT so long ago, and I'm just so excited that we were able to put a team together and that we'll be able to participate this time around. It's going to be a lot more fun participating than, sitting on the couch and watching ESPN3.
Absolutely.
Yeah, last year was amazing. Some really good games, and we thought they packed a lot of talent into 24 teams last year. This year, 64 teams. It just runs deeper than ever. And this purple and black team has kind of been hit or miss in TBT. They're coming out really strong, or they kind of fizzle. So, have you had a chance to really look at this team yet, or start talking scouting?
Yeah, definitely familiar with some of those names. Like I said, a lot of these guys are participating not only in this region, but in all of TBT are former, college stars in their own right. So just off the top, my guy, Justin Edwards, a fellow Canadian, a guy that I played against in Hungary actually last season. It'll be good to see him again and, see how his game translates over to a TBT format. And he just won a championship out in Romania. So congratulations to him. But,
Yeah.
He's such a good friend of mine now. We've known each other for such a long time, so it's going to be fun to match up against him. And then just up and down the roster is just some big, strong, athletic guys on that roster, and I'm sure they're going to have a defensive identity, and they're going to really push us on that end of the floor. So we'll get more into it obviously as the team comes together. We're going to have a little training camp coming up shortly here in Omaha. And I'm very much looking forward to getting back on the court with my boys, getting back to practicing and getting back to competing all towards one goal. So, before
Money.
you know it,
The
it'll
one
be
goal is
time.
money.
Yeah,
$1 million. That doesn't hurt. It's fun to get
The
together and
check,
have the old team back together. But yeah, getting paid feels even better. But
Oh,
yeah, no, we're
100%.
excited about your team, and we really appreciate you jumping on. The couple things you mentioned, it's awesome about the TBT community. So even though these are going to kind of be fierce competitive games, it's great to kind of see some of these guys you either played against or played with, and it's just a lot of camaraderie. So wish you guys the best of luck, and I can't wait to see what you guys do in TBT.
Don't go anywhere though. We still have to talk a little bit about this Valley contest.
Of
Stay on,
course, yeah.
James. We want
I
to
got
introduce
you.
our other host. We got Coach Zach Bush from the Aftershocks, the host of the Wichita region. This should be a fun team. And it's interesting because we were talking about the picks here, and I won't outcharge. We did discuss the Shocks a lot on our podcast about being a quality team, but we didn't see a lot of separation between the 1 and 6 seed. We had you guys as basically a co-number 1 seed with 5 other teams. We see the separation of the great to merely extremely good around the 7 line. No disrespect, Jahenns, obviously. So the deal is, and please prove us wrong. We like to be proved wrong. But I'm really curious, like as a 2 seed, how much pressure does that put on your team, Zach?
I don't think a ton. I think it's a little different than, an NCAA tournament feel. I think we don't pay attention too much to seeding. It's more, about teams. As you mentioned, sometimes first year teams, it takes a little bit adjustment period. We like our draw. We, like you said, I mean, we saw the teams that were applying to our regional, and we thought, Florida TNT is a really good team. ALS is a really good team. Like a lot of, quality basketball players. If you really love the game and follow basketball around the world, you see the numbers that some of these guys are putting up and the quality of league that they're playing in. So not a ton of pressure, but at the same time, I think know what we're getting into and respect all of our opponents.
Yeah, so Zach, full disclosure on Aftershocks. So one of our earlier shows, I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, I predicted Aftershocks to be an early exit. I truly did. I said you guys won't make it past the round of 16. So I've got to live with that decision. I did make the call. Shannon Shorter, who played with you in the first year, obviously moved over to the region. I didn't see Clay Anthony early on there, who played some good minutes and some good ball for you. So that was pre-Tyrus McGee. So I'm going to stick with it because I made the pick. But tell me about how Tyrus McGee came into the fold. I think once again, just like Creighton, you guys have a ton of alumni there. It looks like 7 or 8 on the screen. But obviously the Tyrus McGee pickup is gigantic for you guys.
Yeah, Tyrus was huge. He was a guy who was on our radar after 2019 TBT in Wichita. He lit us up pretty good. It was kind of one of those performances where during the game, you're looking over at everybody like, damn, this dude can go. So just happened to know some mutual people, reached out to him, and, whenever you reach out to somebody that's not an alum, I think in TBT, it's a little bit more difficult unless you have great, deep relationships. And just fortunately, he's, I think, a basketball junkie, a guy that loves to play. I think he's played now in either 3 or 4 TBTs. Unfortunately, he's never, won a game. So we're planning to change that for him. But yeah, he's just a stud. Dude plays in a great league, played in Israel this year, had some big time highlight dunks these past few years, shoots the ball extremely well. And just a great dude. He's been a pleasure to work with so far. Some guys, I'm sure, Jahenns, as you can, attest to, it's sometimes tough getting guys for TBT. Not that they're bad dudes by any means, but sometimes guys just don't communicate well. And getting somebody, locked down for the roster, ready to go is just huge. And to have a guy like that of his caliber player who's also all in on playing is really exciting. And we're really fortunate to have him.
Yeah, so obviously the story of, I guess that would have been TBT 2019 was the Wichita crowd setting TBT records for fan attendance. And unfortunately, I can't recall how many were there. I wish I could. But obviously this year, I think there's going to be some pent-up demand post-COVID. I think things are going to open up as we get closer to the TBT. So how important is that for the Aftershocks, for the host team? And what is it about Wichita that just brings people out of the woodwork to come see you guys?
Yeah, it's huge for our team and it's huge for our community. I think it's a special city in that it's not small by any means, but we're also not, a major metropolis. We're not in Atlanta and LA. And so Wichita State basketball is essentially the pro team in town. Everybody loves the Shockers. You love to come out and watch. We have a ton of KU fans in the city, a ton of K-State fans, but there's a real big time Wichita State basketball following. And anytime you can do anything associated with Wichita State basketball, the fans are going to eat it up. And I think just a city that really appreciates good basketball. I know I was a freshman in 2012, 2013 at Wichita State on the basketball team, and Jahenns, we played you guys in a great game there, like blackout.
Yeah.
So, great crowd, just like when we'd come up and play at Creighton, the history there, just really great basketball communities. And I think it's good for not only us, but it's fun for anybody. When you go play basketball in TBT, you don't want to play in front of, 100 people. You want to be playing, as close to a college or professional playoff atmosphere as you can get. And so I think us being able to provide that to our own team, it's a selling point. Okay, just because, you graduated, you can still come back and feel that same nostalgia and love. And then other teams like the Creighton alumni team, K-State, like, it's awesome to have you guys here because there's a regional feel. Our fans want to see you guys too. And then you guys get to play in an environment that's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Hey, before you move, what's really cool too is, like you said, Wichita, I guarantee you the fans at Wichita are really going to rally behind some of these local teams as well. I've seen it in Columbus every year where, bizarre to me, but the Ohio State crowd was really getting behind the Red Scare the one year, which is just, it doesn't make sense, but it's just people love basketball. They love some of those regional things. So if they're not playing Wichita State, then obviously you're going to get a good pickup from those folks. So I can't wait to see how welcoming Wichita is to some of these other alumni teams.
I don't think that's going to happen with us. No matter what, a great team.
You would be surprised. I was so surprised it happened. I mean, it was the closest game Mid-American Unity was playing Red Scare right before Ohio State, and you would think they'd be rooting for an upset of Red Scare, but the fans were getting behind Red Scare. It just blew my mind. So you never know. I mean, this is a different world. Everyone's going to rally and hopefully support you guys. But we put
out a Twitter poll to see who fans wanted to see, and I don't think they're going to thumb their nose at either, but our fans wanted to see Creighton in the second round if we win. I know we got those two programs.
That's the matchup that our fans want as well. Trust me.
We'd love to hate each other.
Yeah, that's the thing it comes down to is really the love, the competition. Because keep in mind also you guys have that Valley feel, but also K-State, I assume, is not a well-loved program in Wichita either. So I mean, they're just going to want to play they're going to want that Blue Crew matchup. So let's get into the picks right now. So obviously we had our panel, and Matt Crawford, Bram Foreman, and Alan Cunahan came in and helped us out with this. And obviously shocks across the board. No disrespect to friends of the pod, expats. We expect them to put up a fight against you. But we kind of divided on the K-State Blue Crew. Both Charge and I actually picked the Blue Crew because we're going against the concept of you guys not being a first-year alumni team or being a first-year alumni team and having some issues. We're just going to assume you can shoot your way out of that. So trying to make us look too bad, obviously. I just want to see that Valley on Valley matchup. So Jahenns, how much does it mean to have a potential second round matchup if you can get past your first game with a former conference mate?
I was just talking to some people around town this past weekend, and I told them how excited I was to get back to Cook Arena. Like I never thought I'd say those words, but like the more that we're talking about it now, the more excited I am to be back in that environment. And just like we mentioned earlier, this is going to be as close to a college basketball kind of professional playoff atmosphere as we're going to get, especially in the summertime. So that is the matchup that we want. Like, we're not going to make no bones about it. I hope that they're able to get stuff done on their side and we're able to get stuff done on our side, because I think that's going to be a very exciting second round matchup. For the fans, obviously, hopefully, we get pretty good ratings on ESPN and people are tuned in to watch that as well, for the people who won't be able to drive down. From my understanding, I'm hearing that a lot of Crane fans want to make the trip up just for nostalgia's sake, just to get back up there in Wichita for, maybe one last time. You never know about these college matchups, if they're ever going to be a Crane Wichita State and Wichita ever again. So it'll be fun all around. Like, we're really looking forward to the challenge of it all. And like you said, we are a first year team, but I just feel like we have a lot of experience and we know how to play well with each other. So we're going to try and go out there and not make you guys look too bad for picking us.
All right, and Zach, so obviously you guys, we got a kind of a clean sweep here for you in Aftershock. So what do you have to do to kind of stay focused here? So obviously in TBT, the impossible is possible. We've seen 16s be won. So what do you got to do to stay focused and make sure that you do advance to this alumni game, whether it be purple and black, or obviously it sounds like the fans and the people want to see Creighton, and as you see, me and Hayner pick Creighton. So hopefully we get that matchup. So what do you got to do just to make sure this doesn't fall off the rails like we see on occasion?
Yeah, I think it starts with everyone being on the same page as far as play style. This isn't a tournament where you're coming out and running a ton of different sets, quick hitters, or more what this tournament sees. And then, defensively, you're not changing up things a ton. So it's more about just playing good, clean basketball. Like you said, anything can happen in this. You come out and you play a team like we didn't, know much about sideline cancer before we played them in 19 in the second round. They came out hot. You got Marcus Keene, Mo Creek. These dudes are banging in threes. They play a good style of basketball. They trust one another. So I think that's the biggest thing, is everybody being on the same page. Like, we all, do our training camps and making sure everybody understands that not every guy needs to go out and, score 25 points and get up 20 shots a game. This is more about, if you want to win, you may have to sacrifice a little bit. You may be the best player, on your team right now in Europe or wherever you're playing at, but for us, you may need to take a little bit different role. But another big thing, I think, is just not underestimating an opponent. I'm sure that's happened quite a few times in TBT. Somebody that, fans may not think super highly of, but I know we definitely take expats for real and should be ready to go.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely play smart basketball, play clean. Those are the Bible of winning in TBT. Gentlemen, thanks for coming by. Zach Bush of Aftershocks and Jahenns Manigat of the Blue Crew. Gentlemen, we can't wait to see you guys' results. I'm really hoping for that Valley matchup in the second round.
Appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
Hope you enjoyed listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner. Subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, and give us your money.